Hi everyone, welcome to Thuy and Edith Argue, also known as Tea Time.
Hi, Thuy.
Hi E.
How are you?
Good, how are you? What have you been up to?
I'm good. Nothing much other than a little bit of pickleball, as you know.
And you just got a teaching job, didn't you?
I did get a teaching job for the county, Sarasota County, so I'll be teaching pickleball around. In a couple of weeks, I'll start. I've got orientation next week, and then I start the following week.
So it's an institution of higher learning.
Yes. It's adult community education.
Adult
education. Yes. It's just like a 4-week clinic, 4 to 5 weeks. Different people, different classes, different days.
Okay.
It's not like they're going to university or college or anything for a gazillion dollars.
They learn skills there.
Yes.
Not just the pickleball that you teach, but there's a variety of courses that they can take there.
Like painting and dancing, aerobics.
Yes.
All kinds of different classes, yes.
Well, the ones that you happen to name are physical extracurricular activities, but they can also learn a language. They can learn a skill like cooking.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You can. And all these courses only last 5 to 10 weeks, not 4 years.
So basically, we're segueing into a college education. Is it worth it?
Is it worth it? I don't think so. For many different reasons.
I in general say yes.
Okay.
There's our point of contention.
I in general would say no. My biggest reason would be the cost. It's highly expensive. Highly.
That is a big reason. I agree with you actually on that.
Oh.
I actually agree
good.
with you. First of all, I have to point out that in honor of this episode, I am wearing a shirt with my alma mater. I don't know if y'all can see it. That's why I was asking about
Sarasota Bulls. University of South Florida.
Yes.
The Bulls.
The Bulls.
That's what they're called, the Bulls.
That's our mascot. We're the Bulls.
You have a bull as a mascot?
Yeah. Tough, strong,
Bully.
determined.
Bully.
No, I actually, did you go to university?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Did you have post-education, post-high school?
Yes. Went to a bit of a community college for a while.
Okay.
Did some classes, yeah.
That's great. Was it just general classes or was it focused towards something?
Psychology.
Okay.
Sociology.
Because you like to play mind games?
Yes. That's my game. Play with the mind.
No, I agree with you that the high cost of college is outrageous. And if anything, that would be the biggest disadvantage of going to college or receiving a college education. The actual value of it itself, I would say I am very much for several reasons.
Yes.
Besides for, people say in general, like college graduates have higher earnings and job security. That doesn't mean, I get it, that doesn't mean that if you don't have a college education that you won't be successful in life, because that's obviously not true.
Obviously not true.
Right. But it's just saying statistically that they have a higher chance of earning more and always being able to find a job.
Not always being able to find a
Well,
job, but yes, they have more opportunity, because most places or a lot of places would prefer somebody with a degree as opposed to somebody who's just out of high school or whatever.
Right.
Well, there's also the disadvantage of 4 years, an additional 4 years
Sure.
going, and while they're getting their degree, they're missing out on 4 years of learning a profession, being in there and getting 4 years worth of skills, because a lot of employees also want someone who's had experience, so they're missing out on 4 years of experience in whatever profession.
Right. So there's sort of like the medium then, because I agree with you on that depending on...
Stop agreeing with me.
Well, depending on your path, your field, and there's programs now that people can take where it almost like integrates that, right? Where you are taking classes while you're also receiving some kind of internship or experience.
Right.
Because I wouldn't want someone right out of high school and they're interning at the hospital to be a doctor. I mean, you need to know some stuff.
Right.
You can't. Right. I understand that not all career fields are like that. That's one that is a good illustration.
Right.
But there's, of course, plenty of other things where you can intern at the same time, still take classes to further your learning, further your knowledge.
But there's a lot of opportunity now, a lot of places where you can go in there to work and they'll put you through certifications for certain things. So
sure.
Again, it's not necessary to be a 4-year college major or get any degree to be able to thrive and succeed.
Now, you stress that 4-year thing, but also a lot of places you can get almost an accelerated degree because you're taking maybe a bigger course load, or you're going right through summer, or with some students, they have planned ahead, and it's okay if they don't know yet. But for some people in high school, they already have that forethought and they kind of already know more or less what field. So they've taken some classes in high school that have counted towards that.
Yes.
So their time in actual college is lessened.
May not be 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay, it might not be 4 years, but okay, so another downfall would be student loans, because again, college is very expensive. Maybe 30 grand, if not more, depending if it's a public school.
Yeah.
Public institution would be around 30 grand. A non-profit one is like 90, and it goes up from there. So then how many years does it take to pay back these loans, depending on what job you've got and what your salary is? You've got to be paying back your loans, so you're still not making the coin.
Sure, and that has to do with what you said as your first thing was the cost of college education. I understand that. That's the whole thing, the whole question, that whole debate of should public college be free for all, and that's still a huge debate. I don't know. With that, I mean, there's grants and scholarships out there because in a sense, I don't think that it should be free for all, kind of, because what if you just get in there just because you don't know what to do and you just want to pass time and you don't know what you're doing with your life? You have to still maintain.
You're taking classes, you're doing courses, you're doing something.
But
so it's not like you sat at home.
True, yes, but I feel like there should be more than that. It should be requirements. Like you should maintain a certain GPA. You can't just be slacking off or going to class just so you can sleep.
Right, obviously.
Or see your friends. Right.
That's not why you go to school. You go do higher learning. You don't. Well, some people do go just to have friends.
It is expensive. It is expensive, but there's grants, there's scholarships, and then
not for everybody though.
Sure.
Not everybody gets grants and scholarships. Do they?
Not everybody.
Not everybody. And again, it's not always necessary. It's not necessary to have a degree to get some jobs.
Correct. But it depends on the job. So I'm not against necessarily, for instance, vocational schools or schools that are just focused on learning a skill or a trade. It's just that for me, in a sense, I'm for college in that a college education is worth it. It is valuable. Now, worth how much? I don't know. I can't put a money. Well, that's too much. I don't know if it's worth 100 grand, but it's definitely worth, like, I don't have a number,
right? Right.
But there's things just like life experience. There's no substitute for that. I feel there's also no substitute for a college education. Besides for the academics and the actual knowledge that you're gaining, the skills that you're learning because you're in school to be an engineer, like Ashley, for instance, right? Or you're in school to be a doctor or to be
Is Ashley going to be
a
teacher?
She's in biomedical engineering.
Ooh.
She wants to work in labs. She wants to cure stuff. and make the world better.
That's a good field to be in. That's one that would be worth it because it's a necessity. It's something that's needed.
Right.
It's all she's would be hired somewhere, obviously.
She's very concerned that she wouldn't. She's very concerned if when she's done with her degree, this is actually one of our big talks that we have pretty much constantly for the last few months, because this is her last year, is, Mom, when I get out of school, I won't have experience. So she doesn't know if she should go for her master's like right away or just take some time off of school to get a job so that she has experience. And I'm like, why don't you kind of do both?
We're gonna say you were just
I'm
saying
like,
that
you're still young.
Get a job and still go to school.
Now, if that were me, I mean, to me, I kind of would be like, that's what I would do, But this is her, so obviously it's got to be her choice.
Experience and still learn, because it's a never-ending learning field.
But things like that, you kind of do want someone who is educated and knowledgeable and actually has some kind of educational training, whether it's college or something, because engineers, for example, in this case, they're the ones that build buildings, they build bridges, they build technology, they build the spaceships and airplanes. So in a sense, you wouldn't want someone just out of high school and learning how to, intern and doing all these things. But there's other fields of work that definitely don't require per se, that it's more about your actual real life experience. But besides for that knowledge, what I was going to say was, besides for that value that is not, able to be put into an actual number, there's things that I feel are gained from being in a college type of setting. You could probably gain it in like any kind of vocational or post high school type of schooling too, but things like critical thinking, problem solving, like analytical, you can't teach that in a job. Analytical skills, even if it's like a simplistic job, like you and I are in the hospitality industry. In the hospitality industry, no one's going to hold your hand and be like, look, if this happens, you do this. You just do it.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not going to train you to do that. But in places like college, you learn that from the classes that you take because of the way the professors teach and the lessons that are in that course. You learn analytical skills. You learn things that you wouldn't learn anywhere else.
Really?
I feel, yeah. How to approach like a problem, or you look at an experiment and you come up with a hypothesis and then you test it to prove if it's true or if it's not true. If it's not true, then all right, great. You test something else. There's like a process to it. There's like a way of approaching something.
You didn't do all this in high school.
You do some of it to a degree.
Right.
You do some of it. But if I were to expand on that, it's also personal development. High school, most of the time you go to high school that's somewhere still within your community. Most of the time, well, I can't say that, right? But when people go to college, it's more like, whoa, this is an experience that's not like high school. It's kind of like the real world now, a little bit. Because in high school, it might just be your little realm. And in college, you're exposed to so many different diverse people and cultures and different perspectives, ways of thinking, where you're just like, whoa, I never thought of it in that way. Or whatnot. And I don't think that you really get that in high school. In high school, it's still cliquey and it's still your own little bubble.
Right.
I know that my world was opened up a lot when I went to University of South Florida. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you have a point there.
Whoa, you're agreeing with me?
You have a point.
That's something that's not, you can't put a number value on that you get that from the college experience. You know what I mean? The exposure to other things, which is personal development. You don't really get that in the workplace either. Again, they're not going to train you that on the job, like how to
You just learn
solve
it,
a problem.
You learn how
I
to solve
guess.
problems from living life. You learn
Certain
how to
things,
solve problems.
certain things, sure.
Yeah. I mean, what's to say the way that the teacher's teaching you how to solve a certain problem is the way to solve it? I mean,
No, but it's one way to like approach it, and it might have been a way where you're
so
like,
they're
oh,
teaching you one way, but you can learn other ways just from being out in the workforce doing a job of any sort.
you could.
Yeah. So you don't really have to pay to learn.
Not
I
necessarily.
think.
Oh, and to add to the whole money thing, just my own,
Personal
experience.
experience.
Personal experience. I did get some grants when I graduated high school and this and that, but some things like books, and then later on, I actually took some electives and whatnot, and I took a little bit longer in college because the last 2 years I lessened my workload. So if you're talking about, 4 years or it's wasted time or I don't have enough time, I need to be out there living life. The last 2 years on purpose, I didn't have parents that helped me with paying and that type of thing. I didn't come from like a rich family, but crazy rich Asians. Edith thinks that's the stereotype. But the last 2 years of my college, I took lesser work course loads. So I took, for instance, 9 credits versus like say the full 15. But then I took courses in the summer, or it made me my I guess to attain my diploma took a little bit longer, but it was worth it because I had a lesser course load. I worked part-time at different places to help pay for that, to help offset, like I still was living in an apartment, so I had to pay my share of the rent, my food. Everyone knows that college living is not luxurious. You're poor and you're eating ramen and bread. But I was using that. The whole point of my story is I was using that money to pay for my books and my lab fees and just miscellaneous supplies that I needed, because in a sense it wasn't free. It makes me value it so much more. I just have like a certain pride in my degree that probably I wouldn't have had. It's a hypothetical, but if someone else had paid for it, or if it was like completely like a free ride or whatever.
Right.
So in that sense, the whole money thing.
You didn't have years of loans to pay back?
Correct. Yeah. Because I was
good.
smart about it.
Yeah.
and I did it like that. I took longer, but when I was done, I didn't have loans.
Right.
I just was finished.
That makes sense.
But I got to tell you, where else are you going to learn how to do a keg stand?
True, because I do not know how to do one of those.
And how to haze. You know how to haze people.
No, what does that even mean?
Like
I
hazing?
know.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
I
I was
know.
like, what?
I mean, I would never do that, because that's what mean girls do.
That's what you do.
I've never done it.
You don't call it hazing. That's just your normal behavior, how you act towards people. You torture them to gain your respect.
It works, does it? Don't know what she's talking about.
But, when you're saying like the whole 4-year thing, I would have to say most of what we're talking about probably pertains more towards the right out of high school, because we're not really talking about like if you're older and later on you decide to go for a degree, right? So with that being said, with that in mind, then I almost want to say, look, you're 18, you're 19, you're young. What's 4 years? I almost want to kind of be like that. Like, what's another 4 years? Figure it out. That's what you're using that time for too.
That is true. That's how you do it. It would be the way to go, like straight out of high school into college, because mom's going to pay for it.
And even if you don't figure it out, that's what that time is for. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean like, oh, then you'll know everything and have it all figured out when you're done with high school, because that's not what I'm saying either.
Because people reckon at 15 and 16 that they've got everything figured out, right?
Yes. But then that might be even an argument for college is that they can find their identity and see if that is what they want to do for the rest of their life or not, or at least just kind of form some sense of purpose. That's when they can kind of start to formulate that. Even if they don't formulate it during those years, college, that exposure, I think, helps to kind of like nurture that. I do.
Yeah, I know you do, because you keep saying it. I know you do.
Well,
and I mean, some of the stuff you were saying, it makes sense, but I still don't think it's worth it. I just don't. But I'm always thinking about money.
right.
Yeah. And when you don't have any, that's a little difficult to do.
It's
Like
true.
I paid off my student loans. It took a while, but it's not easy.
For your community college,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But with that being said, you don't need money. If you really set your mind, you really want something, you're going to make it happen.
Yeah. That's also true.
Whether it's because you want a college degree or because you want a certain car or whatever, you're going to make it happen.
It just happens, yeah. You manifest it, right?
Right.
Yeah. It works. It works out. Life just works out. So you don't have to pay $1 gazillion to go to college, because
No.
life will work out.
But do you think that right now, if college was just boop, magic, and then happens to be free for everyone as long as they maintain a certain GPA, do you think that enrollment would skyrocket and people would enroll?
I think so, yes. I think there'd be a lot more people going to college, university, if the ride was free.
Wow. Or more affordable.
Or more affordable. Yeah.
Because you know what I feel about the whole completely free thing. They're not going to appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. I hear what you're saying. Some people wouldn't, some people would. It's a bit of both, right?
Right.
A bit of both.
And then who's to say then it's going to be the whole, well, but then this college is better than this college, or this college specializes in...
It's like that now. That's why prices differ so
Sure.
much. This college is better than that college, but are they not learning the same things?
The general classes, yes. The prereqs.
Right. But I mean, all, say like you're doing, like Ashley's doing this biomedical.
Engineering.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what she's learning at the school she's going to, they're not teaching the same thing at another school. I mean, why would they teach, if this is what you need to learn, why would it be different at one school than another?
It's not, but maybe the approach might be different, and also they might not specialize in specifically that, because that's a pretty, small niche.
Right.
Biomedical.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay,
engineering
so-
in general, yeah, there's going to be other schools that have engineering, but they might not specialize in biomedical engineering.
Okay, so they don't. So you're obviously going to go to a college or a university that specializes in what you want to, that teaches whatever you're going for.
Right.
But just say, let's see, just like a psychology degree.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to teach the same psych classes as they would in one school to another. That's what I'm asking. It's like, why would they pay $30,000 more at this school to learn the same stuff at another school?
Right. That's just that's just their own whatever then. You have to look at that.
The world works, yeah.
They just have to see, like, maybe the one school has better professors, and what I mean by better is maybe professors that have been teaching longer, or who've written more books, or who make more appearances on TV that's more world renowned. I don't know, but I don't know who does all those rankings.
Yeah.
But
Yes. Okay, so
a car is a car. Why is a Chevy better than a Ford? Don't they have the same parts? Don't they still get you from one place to another?
Yeah,
Why do
but
you pay
maybe-
more for one to the other?
maybe not as long. maybe for not as long.
Okay.
That's okay. I know the school.
Maybe one college campus is nicer because the grass is green, and the other one is like near the city dump. The location.
That's a good point. Yeah, location
You know?
does matter. It
Yeah.
does matter, location. Just like when you get out and get a job, it's the location, your age, your sex.
Your demand.
Yeah.
Depends on the demand. But I would love to hear what our viewers have to think about, is a college education worth it? You've heard all of our reasons why.
And why not?
So I'd love to hear all of your recommendations and all of your comments below.
And your thoughts. Yes, please. And you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, any social media platform, listening platform.
You could find us on any major listening platform.
Yes, that's what I meant.
We hope that you had fun watching, and we hope that you subscribe and like. See you next time.
Bye. If you had fun listening today, please make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.